What's going on, great friends? It is Friday, January 7th, 2022. I don't know where you guys are at, but I'm waking up to a fine snowfall. We'll talk about that a little bit. All right, let's get down into business. Let's thank who we want to thank that helped get this show started. All right, first of all, I want to give a quick shout out and thanks to StreamYard, the proud home studio for the J Trey Podcast. If you're looking to create your own podcast, YouTube video, or even looking for your own virtual business meetings, StreamYard is the place to go. Head on over to StreamYard.com and start making your dreams a reality. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Place It. Create your own mockups, logos, and videos through Place It. The J Trey Podcast is proud to be using Place It. Places by Envato. Head on over to placeit.net and start your free trial. Also, Canva. Canva, the J Trey Podcast, also use Canva for their little videos that for our breaks. Check out Canva on canva.com. Epidemic Sound. Discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands. Find your perfect soundtrack and give your social media accounts the music they deserve. Epidemic Sounds is a licensed music and noise effect link. Check out Epidemic Sounds for more information. Last but not least, Stream Elements with one click of a button. Easily create and start selling your merchandise through Stream Elements. It's that simple. You create a merchandise page. All right, you upload some photos or whatever you want, or your logos onto whatever Stream Elements provide: t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, mugs, blankets, stickers. You click publish. They create your domain. You send people to the website. They order your product, and they send the product. They make the product to order, and then they send it out to the customer, giving you the profits. You guys want to try that out? StreamElements.com. And while you're there, check out our page, our merchandise page at merch.streamelements.com / JJ Talk Show. All right. I got 2 hours for you guys today. I got Jake and Trey with us. And let's bring them in here and let's get started right here on the J Trey Podcast. Starts now. What's going on, great friends, here on this Friday? And I don't know where you guys are at, but where I'm at, we've had a nice small layer of snow this last 24 hours. It's been kind of interesting dealing with under 20 degrees, and I know I'm complaining vastly compared to some of the other states that are dealing with more snow. But we have a very big 2 hour impactful episode for you. So before I bring in Jake and Trey, kind of let me go over it too. Okay. All right. So in hour number two, I'm going to work my way backwards. In hour number two, we have our NFL week 18 as the final week of the NFL. What teams are contending in the final postseason spots, and what does a playoff picture look like? We also have some interesting stories coming out. We'll be talking about the Aaron Rodgers and Hub Arkish comments made about the MVP earlier this week. Also, kind of want to touch base with you guys about Antonio Brown being released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was done yesterday. We'll get into that in hour number two. Also, in hour number one. All right. Don't forget, we got Jake takes on Trey today in the question circumstance. Plus, we got Jake's 5 minutes of fame. That's correct. And the little segment we're going to be doing also here in our show today. But in our number one, we got a couple of things coming your way. We got Brock Lesnar will be confronting Roman Reigns tonight on SmackDown. We'll talk about that, get you guys ready for SmackDown and Rampage. We also got MJF. All right. Has MJF beaten Punk in his promo game? According to what we're referencing to was back on back on Wednesday's final promo cut. Are they going to finally have a fight? Let's bring that in. All right, so let's get started. Let's get our heads on straight. Good morning, ladies. I'm going to start off with the guy who complains so much being here at 10 a.m. in the morning. I got to point that out there because, I mean, you complain so much about being here in the morning. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. Happy snowfall. Trey, what's going on, man? It's been a whole week, and you're up. You look pretty. You don't look like alfalfa. Your beard is nicely trimmed, or at least it's
Oh,
combed. It
you
looks
actually
like
noticed,
it.
huh?
Oh my goodness, you
Did
look
you
like a
notice that
million.
it's
Okay,
did you notice
I
that
wouldn't.
it's brushed too?
I know it's brushed. It looks great. Let's get a close up on you here. I mean,
Hmm.
it doesn't look like $1 million yet, but it looks like, at least like it's worth 99 cents.
I found a couple, white hairs. It's all good.
Hey, don't you love those days? You know you're
Mm,
getting old when you find gray hairs in your beard.
right.
But I find gray hairs all over my body. That's not because I'm old. It's because of other reasons. But
It's
but hey, you
definitely
wake up
been
this
a
morning. Last week was or last yesterday. The last 24 hours have kind of been chaotic. And I know Jake has had some experience too, but we've also had some snowfall in the last couple 24 hours, right? And
right.
I mean, I'll be honest with you that I'm not ready for this. It dropped down below 20 degrees. Now, I mean, yesterday during the day wasn't bad, but it was still pretty bad. Until last night,
It's
apparently some more
horrible
snow
out.
fell, and I mean, it's just cold outside today.
It feels like 0 degrees outside with the wind chill.
It does. Well, at least you don't have to go outside today. I got to go to work afterwards. I want to say
Mm,
good morning to Armchair Booking that is in our comments. Yeah, listen, hey, real quick, I'm trying to get everyone on board, but real quick, hey, we're live on Facebook, on YouTube right now. Guys, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Whether you're watching it now, whether you're watching it later, I want you guys to participate in the comments, and we want to talk about the comments. I am still learning how to balance reading the comments and doing the show. Reading the comments, doing the show. Now, when we first got Trey, when we first got you on, I know you and Courtney made it an emphasis. Said, hey, listen, if you guys interact with the people on Facebook, on YouTube in the comment section, more people will tune in. I'm still trying to find that equal balance. So you guys bear with us. If we don't get to every comment, everything going on, but also you guys could check us out, listen to us. If you can't find us on YouTube, you don't have the time, because you guys could listen to us on Spotify. You guys could listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Also, you guys could check out our social media page on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all at TNC Sports Talk. So there's no reason why you guys can't check us out. Listen, um, I want, before I bring in Jake, Armchair Booking is in the studio. They just had a couple shows on this week. They've been posting their audio streaming services on YouTube. You can check them out on Armchair Booking on YouTube. So go ahead and go over there and subscribe to them. Check out Steve Barber and Dwaylin Davis as they bring up hot wrestling topics. Now, earlier this week, they broke down the review cap of day one pay-per-view. Back on Wednesday, they had Noah Gabriel and Sinclair Octavius Bentley, as they are going to have a title match for the Tri-State Championship tomorrow night in Mount Orab. And then to yesterday, which I have not gotten a chance to check out yet. But they also posted up another video last night, kind of recapping wrestling in 2021. So Great friends. We're gonna work on getting people out there. I've been crazy busy between here and work. By the time I get home, listen, man. By the time I get home, it's midnight. I go straight to bed. I wake up in the morning. I try to get myself together. It is a process. I'm not really comfortable with all this. Anyways, all right. So let's bring in the other man that's going to get his 5 minutes of fame today, and we'll explain more later. But good morning to the other snowflake, Jake.
Like,
Jake,
mm.
what's going on over there?
well,
Hey, you
since
had
y'all had,
snow as well, right?
yes, we actually had a winter storm. We had about 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 inches worth of snow, and the wind chill is very, very cold outside with 0 degrees, probably below, more colder than that, really, truly. Also, I have a gift to Trey since he doesn't like to get up in the morning. I have some Mountain Dew Sport for him. So here you go, Trey. You need that because you definitely do need it because yeah, you don't usually get up this time. So there you are, Trey.
That is one
I'm
of
gonna
the
say
best
this.
Mountain Dews.
Trey, listen, for someone who complains so much just for getting up 1 day a week, and it was funny because you're not the one who actually sent me the first message of the day complaining. Courtney did.
Oh no, oh no, it was he sent me a message and then sent both me and you a message, and I'm like, bro, it's 10 o'clock. I mean,
Dude, we're all doing this. I mean, listen,
back
I gotta be
then.
up at 8. Jake gets to come up. He look. I mean, Jake looks like the alfalfa. Jake, have you checked your hair?
I tried to fix it this morning. I can't help that my hair is growing
Maybe,
out so long to where I look like
maybe. Oh
alfalfa.
my goodness, you look like you look like a Sheldon Cooper.
Shut. Take that back. Take that back.
Hey, well, hey,
But
listen. All right. So you guys complained to me that I talk way too much in the intro. At least Trey, listen. I mean, listen, I'm getting you guys warmed up. I mean, everyone is settling in, getting their popcorn, getting their drinks. They're getting their comfy spot on the couch or chair,
yeah,
wherever you guys are watching us from. So I'm it's just the opening act, man.
They're
I
actually
gotta,
they're actually
what?
probably laying in the bed falling asleep.
either that or
Hey,
they're making
maybe,
some
maybe.
breakfast.
Listen, maybe I'm starting to create an ASMR, video. I mean, listen, I think it's a way to kind of open our show without, just jumping right into it because I
Yeah,
want to be able to connect. And in order to connect, I mean, I don't want you to spill out, your entire life story, but we have to be able to kind of connect and share some personal stories too, and experiences to help everyone out. We're not, Shannon and Skip on ESPN. We're not calling Cowherd or the Rome show. We're not doing any of that. Think about it. If you are in the car or you had a local radio, station talking nothing about sports, that's what we are in
yeah,
a sense. So pardon me, I'm sorry, but I do what I got to do to get you guys ready, and we have 2 hours.
yeah,
Hey, so let's get right down into wrestling here. I got some good news for you guys. Well, I don't know if it's good news, but it is updated news. I'd say.
yeah,
Back on Wednesday, obviously, we saw the final match of AEW's Dynamite, where Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus defeated Penta and Phoenix in a tag team match. Now, for people that are not understanding where we're coming from on this one here, it's simple. I'll give you a recap. Luchasaurus and Phoenix was on the side of the ring, and Luchasaurus did like a choke slam to Phoenix through a table outside the ring, and on the way down, as Phoenix tried to protect himself, he ended up, oh my goodness, end up having a massive injury in his
horrifying.
breaking his elbow went backwards. I saw the pictures in that it went backwards. And so we talked about this yesterday. We thought it was going to be a break, but it is actually just a badly dislocated elbow. And I don't know if you guys want to take this as good news. I'm kind of up in the air. Listen, I've had injuries doing sports myself. I've had bone fragments, small and minor tears with injuries and soreness. Um, from every time went to a doctor and I've talked to a specialist, they've
Yeah,
always told me, "Hey, you rather have it broken than have it torn, dislocated, whatnot." Because a clean break knows, hey, 6 to 8 weeks you're in a cast, and then about 12 weeks you're back in action. So there's a set timetable. When it comes down
Yeah.
to tears, you don't know when it's actually going to heal. It could take 2 days. It could take 2 years to heal. Um,
Wow.
but here's the other thing too, and I've seen this because my brother also did collegiate wrestling in school, and he dislocated his knee. And I could tell you, I don't know how much this is going to affect Phoenix moving forward because Phoenix is a high flyer. But I could tell you that you could kind of be more cautious about the moves you do once you dislocate a part of your body. It's gonna be more easy. It's gonna be easier to dislocate it again.
Yeah.
You
I
know what
was
I'm
gonna
saying?
say.
So
I was gonna say from my time of watching him when what was that? There's a show that he was on. I forgot what it was called. Lucha Underground. Whenever he first
yeah,
started doing a show, I mean, you guys seen him as doing so many incredible high flying moves, and then he goes to Impact Wrestling, does the same thing, and then takes his talent to AEW, does all these high flying moves. So yet, as the healing starts, the process begins on what can I do to be able to make myself careful. I mean, he can still do the high flying stuff, but as far as like spots like getting put through a table like that, that is, I don't know about that.
sorry, excuse
So
me. Well, I
I
mean, the
feel
thing
like,
is that no matter what you do, you're always bracing impact. You use, I mean, I don't know if you watch a wrestling match. When you take a bump, you're bracing yourself with your arms. And
yeah,
I'm just saying,
Mhm.
maybe he may not have an issue. Again, all I know is that once you dislocate a part of your body, it becomes prone to dislocate again. Now, it may be easier as time goes on, where hey, you dislocate it, pop it back in place, you're good to go.
yeah,
But I know that, like for example, my brother, when he went back in and he started wrestling again, he was scared to. He was kind of almost terrified to do some certain moves because he didn't want to go through the dislocation again. You
yeah.
know, so that kind of held him back on his high school career. Um, which, a matter of fact, he stopped in the midst of high school, and he was a really good wrestler. Like he was, he was actually wrestling prior to high school, and he was basically nominated. He was like MVP of the year. So
Yeah.
I mean, and he had to stop because he dislocated his knee, and it's just one of those sad stories. I don't know. Obviously, Phoenix is a different story. He's a grown man. I don't know what other injuries he's done, but I could only just imagine moving forward. I sure hope that this doesn't affect his career in the spotlights that he wants to do.
Is
Yeah.
there a time?
I'm just worried.
I mean, with me, it's like I feel like this could give a huge break for him to just go out, rest, and try to heal that
Yeah.
injury. And then Pentagon's fine. Whether if
Hmm.
he's a tag team wrestler, he's incredible as a singles wrestler. The man has won championships, as a singles competitor. So, without Phoenix, Pentagon is okay. And I would like to see
Right.
more of Pentagon's, single run in AEW, and that needs to continue happening. I think the last time he was in a singles bout
Right.
was probably against Cody Rhodes last year. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but Pentagon will be okay. It's just a
Right. No,
matter of time
Pentagon
of
will be
when.
fine.
Yeah,
We
it's just a
will
matter
see
of time of
Phoenix back
when
again, and
Phoenix.
I know he will be competing. This ain't going to stop him. I'm just curious and
No.
kind of concerned how what type of effect this will leave on him, scar him.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I know these are this is a. I mean, last time I seen something like this was when, and I haven't even, I actually had to see highlights because I didn't actually watch the match. Last time I see something as bad as this was back when Psycho Sid did that drop kick
Oh
off the
yeah.
top rope
Oh,
and broke his what, fibia or something like that.
Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's the scarring. Yeah,
Oh.
that was bad. And
so
that was
is
his
there
landing foot.
is there a return time for him?
No. So all I know
No,
is
no.
that people were speculating that it was a broken elbow. I mean, even we speculated. Yesterday, medical reports came out said it was badly dislocated, not broken. We don't know the extent of how badly dislocated. I don't know if this torn any ligaments or tissue or tendons in there. I sure hope not, but we will see what type of surgery he's going to need, pins and needles, and all that good stuff. I'm
I.
assuming. I sure hope. I just this is where it gets to me because you just don't know the time frame that he's on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be
I
6 months,
hope
it could be like a year.
I hope for the sake of AEW that if they start showing the rematch highlights, that they hopefully we don't see the injury again, because that was
Right.
already brutal enough to see. I've seen it slow mo so many times. It's
Yeah.
very very disturbing to see, and
Well,
I'm
with
wishing.
replay, with social media, with YouTube, there's no like you could just Google it and you can see pictures of it. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
that bad. But hey, listen, I got some more extra interesting news coming out of tonight's show and leading in tomorrow for AEW. I will share with you guys coming back from break. Hey, listen, I want to first thing we're gonna kick off is MJF, did he finally get to Punk? It is, I mean, has Punk thrown in that white towel when it comes down to promos? We will find that out and we'll talk about that coming up next here on the J Trey Podcast.
I won't make it easy for you now. You got 2 minutes of my time, and I don't really break too easily, but I'm worth it, 'cause I'll slip into your dreams tonight. Oh, so give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Just watch me breaking your sweat. You're falling into me, touch me. I swear you would do anything that I want, so keep us awake till the dawn. Baby, feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. I wanna make you sweat on me. I got you wrapped around my finger, but don't you try to call me tomorrow. There's nothing personal in having a little fun. You wait to see if it's worth your while. So give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Just watch me breaking your sweat. You're falling into me, touch me. I swear you would do anything that I want, so keep us awake till the dawn. Baby, feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. I wanna make you sweat on me. Feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. Just take a hint, you got a free pass. Oh, try to hide it, but you had me from the get-go. Let me be frank, I'm not that complicated. Gotta get it right now. Yeah, push your limits with you right now.
What's going on, Courtney, in the chat conversation? Hey, if you guys are tuning us in on YouTube Live, you watch streaming live, leave that comment down below. Join the chats with us. We'll try to get back with you guys the best of ability here. You know, I listened to that commercial, that break song again, and Jake, I tell you, I'm growing on it, man. I am growing on that song. Gets me to feel a certain way. Anyway, all right. So AEW is going to be the hot topic right now for this next segment, and I'll tell you why. And this is very interesting because AEW came out late last night, and when I say late last night, I mean late. AEW has announced that tonight's Rampage match, they're going to be changing Battle of the Belts contest due to medical protocols. I'm going to actually bring in kind of break down the match card for tonight. There's 4 matches set for tonight. I think I have it here. All right. So let me just read this out loud to you guys here. AEW has announced that on Friday's episode of Rampage, they will reveal a change to Saturday's Battle of the Belts card. A revision to Saturday's 2-match card will be announced owing to medical standards, according to AEW. The news was revealed in a tweet sent out at 11:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's pretty damn late. A tweet then promoted Friday's 4-bout Rampage event, which will include Hook taking on Aaron Solo. So this is tonight's Rampage show. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter will take on Rio and Ruby Soho. Adam Cole will take on Jake Atlas. And Daniel Garcia and 2.0 will take on Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz in a no DQ, no rules, no hold bar fight. Battle of the Belt, it will air Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TNT from the Bohongles, pardon me if I Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. The matches that have been featured are Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Rio for the AEW Women's World Championship, and Cody Rhodes defending his title against Sammy Guevara in a rematch for the TNT Championship. Trey, or not Trey, Jake. Sorry, I'm going to get you two mixed up. We will find out tonight what the match, what has changed for Battle of the Belts. But this is kind of interesting news.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I don't know exactly the whole shebang. I guess you'll have to tune into a Rampage tonight to find out.
I don't really know if someone might have had COVID or if someone gotten injured. I don't really know, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting turn because, like you mentioned, at the Bojangles Coliseum, we're supposed to have the TNT Championship and the Women's Championship being defended tomorrow night. So I'm really curious to see what AEW has up in their sleeve. Hopefully, this will be something really good.
Yeah, yeah, and I sure hope so. Yeah, I mean, because you're in, like, you just saw the match, you just heard the match card tonight. You're gonna see Britt and Ruby. So if you're gonna have them tonight, why have them compete less than 24 hours away for a title? Well, not Ruby, but Rio. Why have them compete less than 24 hours away?
I mean, I guess to get prepared, I mean, because you got to hype up the match between Britt Baker and Riho, and plus, putting them in this tag match would be understanding, considering the fact that Britt Baker did attack Ruby Soho at Dynamite this past Wednesday. So and then Riho came out and saved Soho.
But if Britt's supposed to defend her title against Rio tomorrow, let's take away. I'm not looking at this. Obviously, Rampage is taped. And I'm not looking at it at this factor, though, but typically, you won't see people, well, at least championship matches, caliber matches, in action less than 24 hours.
Yeah, so. I mean, Joe, I mean, me talked about this yesterday, is that it seems like AEW has been trying to put every single championship on the line. And yes, you are correct, Courtney. It is the Bojangles Coliseum in North Carolina tomorrow. And yet, Bojangles is definitely a really awesome place to go eat. So if you guys are in the Carolinas, you guys are lucky.
All right. So I mean, that's pretty much said on that. We'll find out tonight what happens. All right. Bigger question here. Obviously, for people who you should have saw by now AEW Dynamite, which was probably the biggest show of the year. But we had ourselves a big, out of everything that happened, Hangman and Danielson and that bloody match, which was phenomenal. I think you got a little bit of everything. I loved it. There was nothing wrong with it. And between, Jade Cargill winning the TBS Women's Championship, to even Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus winning Tag Team Championship, promos were still to be cut. And over the last couple of weeks, several weeks, as a matter of fact, MJF and CM Punk has been going back and forth on the promos. And it looks like MJF finally got to Punk on Wednesday night in the promo cutting. Has MJF beaten promo? Here's the thing. And I had to go back and listen to this to actually understand exactly where MJF finally got to Punk on this promo cut. Can you pinpoint, for someone who's watched Dynamite, can you pinpoint exactly what MJF said to finally piss off Punk?
I mean, pretty much, it's not just this past Wednesday. I think he said a lot of things that has really got under Punk's skin over the last couple of months now. So that I think maybe it might have been the whole WWE references is probably where I'm getting at. But yet you probably saw something that I didn't.
No. So, Trey, did you get a chance to watch AEW on Wednesday?
I did not, but I can tell you. I think.
Can you tell me where MJF? What was the line that MJF said?
I think it was when he said that Piper was better than him, and he was actually got the main event WrestleMania. No.
The main event, the main event at WrestleMania. Yeah. Punk never had a main event at WrestleMania.
Right.
And so, all right. So I'm not taking credit for this. A part of this I heard. So I listened to a part of this, and it made completely sense. And this is why we're talking about it today, because I feel like it's important. But I got to thank Bully Ray from Busted Open Podcast, because this is where I kind of got, wanted it. That's the reason why I want to talk about it today. And at least I'm not taking credit for it, not whatsoever, because it's not a lot of it didn't come out of my mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking about where this happened, and it makes perfect sense with CM Punk. When MJF takes that shot, and now, and it gets crazier. Here's where the reason I think it lost, because Punk at the end of the promo, hey, why don't we finally fight for it? When you finally sit there and now call out for a match, you're done with talking. Right?
Yeah.
And Punk, who has been expressly well known for this promo cutting, the fact that you have nothing else to say to MJF, you're kind of throwing in that towel and say, hey, all right, I got nothing else to say about you. Let's go ahead and just now fight.
See, here's the thing is that, and I want to point this out. Before Punk and MJF got into it, see, Trey's known me for a long time to where I love the bad guys. And MJF is probably one of my favorites right now, because he has the balls to say things that nobody has the balls to say. He can call you out on whatever it's your past stuff, whether it's the UFC or the WWE stuff. MJF has the promo skills. He's got it. And against a guy like CM Punk, who we all know with his infamous pipe bombs, MJF, week after week, is always dropping pipe bombs against Punk, and yet Punk's starting to realize, what can I say? What can I say? This dude beats me at promo battling. And it goes to show how much MJF has grown since he joined the company, and how much he's developed as a heel that he needs to be. I mean, he's the type of guy that you just want to grab your nice beer that you just bought at the concession stand and throw at the dude. That's how hatred he gets. So MJF has a lot that goes to show that, hey, I don't give a F what you think about me, because I'm here to do my job, win matches, win championships, and make money.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I think also, I think one thing that MJF really has upper hand in all of this is the fact that that CM Punk has that exposure. He's been in WWE for so long. He's had a lot of great matches. But where have you seen MJF at? So MJF could throw 1,000 things at CM Punk right now, because there's evidence to back it up. Punk's had WrestleMania matches. He's been in WWE. He's been in Ring of Honor. But when you talk about MJF, where has MJF been through? You know what I'm saying? Where has he been known for? When we talk about it, like independent circuits, but nothing big enough, known enough to take a stab at.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that even though MJF has not been in, like, WrestleMania or, like, the big events besides joining AEW, I can honestly say that he has developed himself in his own way. And it definitely goes to show that you don't have to really join the WWE just to be famous, because he is already making himself famous by becoming this heel that everyone hates so much. I mean, you can love to hate, is what I'm trying to say. So yet you don't really need all this popularity, because it gives someone like MJF time to build their character. And it definitely paid off for sure.
Yeah. Well, when I guess you grasp this, the fact that CM Punk said, "Hey, listen, there's no more talking. Let's fight. Let's get into it." And I think that's kind of says it all for me in my
Yeah.
eyes. Punk is kind of well, I got nothing more to say to you. I can't come up with anything else. So, all right. So has MJF won the promos? Because coming up
Yes.
next is them going to be fighting.
Yes, because plain and simple, I feel like Punk doesn't really have much left to say. I mean, the time for talking is almost done with. Let's finally get to the match. Let's finally get to where we've been waiting for over the last couple of months since November. I mean, we've been waiting for this match since the end of Full Gear when those two first finally got a chance to meet face to face. So I say the time for talk is done. It's time for the match. MJF has beat Punk in these promos, in my opinion.
Hey, while we're here, I just want to give a quick shout out to Taylor White. He's down there in the comments in our chat boxes down here. Man, thank you for guys for coming in. I love the conversation we're having. As a matter of fact, I'm having a side conversation here. We're gonna have to actually break this down in a later episode. But he's talking about Adam Cole and Undisputed Era coming to AEW over the last few months, right? And
Ooh, yeah,
listen,
yeah.
well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Undisputed Era ran NXT. He does Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era from what I know, run AEW. I don't think so. One thing we're talking about here, and I just mentioned this, but there's a lot of great team. You think about the team that Taz is creating, the Inner Circle. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
more creativity in
Also,
the
the Pinnacle. I mean, there's a lot
right.
of
Well, in
great.
AEW,
I mean, there's a lot of great factions and tag teams. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
yeah.
Justin. There's
No,
so
you're
many
fine.
great tag teams. Is that the fact is that we finally get to see Red Dragon. I'm not talking. I'm taking away from the Undisputed Era and all that because to me, if for some of you guys who don't know, before Adam Cole got involved with Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, each one of them made their own legacy. Adam Cole was winning singles championships, while you had Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish becoming one of the great tag teams in all of sports because they had made their mark before joining WWE and Ring of Honor. They was known as the most dynamic tag team in all of wrestling because their style is so unique, their moveset is so unique. I mean, both Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, in my opinion, they're next for those tag team titles.
Well, I mean, you kind of just think about this for a quick second. I will not get too much into it, but you think of the trio. They never really had a chance to accomplish a lot as a trio, or the team of four with Roderick Strong. Now
Mm-hmm.
you come into AEW as the same team. You got the Young Bucks. You got all these teams or organizations going on in AEW with Taz, the Inner Circle, all these, right? I think there's a lot more opportunity for great matches as groups. Like we're seeing a lot of group tag team matches, like we're seeing tonight with Daniel Garcia and 2.0 taking on Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz, right? There's
Yeah,
just going to be a lot of opportunity for that to happen for what, like I said, what I call the Undisputed Era.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there's actually something I really thought about, and yet, Tony Khan doesn't want these types of titles to happen, but yet you brought up a good point with a lot of these factions. I mean, why not
Ooh,
have
triple
a
threat
trio?
tag team match. Yeah, but the thing is,
No,
I think
have
what
a
ends up
trio
happening.
championship. I
Right.
mean,
Here's
that's
here's
where
the
I see
problem
it.
I have with that. Here's the problem I do have with that is that now I mean, just like WWE and Armchair Booking, by the way, like you said, go check them out on Facebook, check them out on Apple Podcasts and audio
Mhm.
streaming services. They talked about this. There are just way too many titles, and when you start creating more titles when you start creating, I mean, you're just throwing a title out there to create. And don't get me wrong, I think AEW could have a phenomenal run with a three-man tag, but that means you got to keep that tag team division going. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean,
And I just
yeah.
don't know if there's enough tag team division. We're already seeing other promotional competitors come and have their title presented on AEW. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the AAA Mega Championships, I mean, at one point we also had the IWGP United States title
Yeah.
defended on the shows. So yet, I mean, I can understand that from your point of view. Yeah, I understand that. I didn't really think about that because considering the fact that we've had so many different championships that has come on AEW with other promotions such as AAA, New Japan, even
Mhm.
the Impact titles were defended on Rampage at some points. So yeah, I can understand not having a trios championship would be understandable. I'm just ready to see more championships outside of AEW be defended on AEW television.
Well, that'll be it's
And
great promotion for them. Go ahead.
can I point something out? I'm just glad AEW is not forgetting about championships unlike WWE.
Oh gosh, we're gonna talk
Yes.
about this weekend, by the way,
Yes.
because we had when was the last time Shinsuke Nakamura defended his title?
I will tell you.
on a pay-per-view.
I will tell you. It
Tell
was
me.
WrestleMania 37 Night 2.
That was Biggie and Apollo.
That was literally the last time Shinsuke that the IC title was on a pay-per-view.
Yep.
Lord Almighty. When was the last time Damian Priest defended his title
This past
on
Monday.
a pay-per-view? On a pay-per-view. That was a couple months ago. A Crown Jewel, maybe.
Extreme Rules.
Oh, see, that was even longer. I don't know. All right, listen. Hey, go check out Armchair Booking. He brought that up. Hey, thank you, Tyler White, for giving those comments in the chats down below. Leave us a chat. We love to talk to you guys about things coming up. Hey, Friday Night SmackDown tonight. Brock Lesnar winning the WWE Championship, but will confront Roman Reigns as he is medically cleared to return. All that still to come. NFL Week 18 still to come here on the J Trey Podcast.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going.
Hey, if you guys are just new tuning into us, just a little recap this week. It's been a phenomenal week so far. Jake, listen, I got to tell you, it's been getting better, and I'm hoping the weekend gets even more better considering what we have in store for you guys this weekend. But you guys can watch us out on weekly now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 10 a.m. to noon, and on Saturday and Sunday from 10 p.m. to midnight. Some occasions we will have 3-hour episodes. Some occasions we will not have an episode or episode earlier in the day, depending on the event. For example, next Saturday, we're in talks right now. We're probably going to have a show maybe earlier in the day because Trey and I are going out to NWF. So we're trying not to cancel episodes. We may have to have it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Same thing goes for the Rumble.
Also, huge shout out to Taylor White for joining us in the show. She's an awesome person, and appreciate her for coming by.
Great stuff. Taylor just posted, I've been waiting for Brock to return. Everyone knew it was coming eventually, especially with I'll just post it up there. Eventually, especially with the unresolved situation with Roman. No way Brock will let him be on top without a fight. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And Trey, I'm sorry, that takes
That's my birthday buddy.
That doesn't even help, Trey. Gosh, maybe we just take that. I feel like well, no, it works, but I feel okay. Trey, you're a Mike Wazowski.
Take the comment
He's
down.
He's a Mike Wazowski. I know, but this comment is so good. I mean, it deserves to be up. I mean,
it's great. It's great, but yet,
Trey, it was like a Mike Wazowski incident.
It's like, where's the Sully? He's that little short dude. I'm like, hey,
Mike Wazowski. You guys see Monster Inc., right? Where each time he does a commercial or a cover of the page, they did the commercial at the beginning of the movie, and his face was covered by the logo, and then at the end, where the barcode was covered by the was covering his face also. Gosh, that was Trey.
So we're calling Trey the Mike Wazowski of the group.
In the comments below, Trey, you see what I have to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, you know what? This is payback for giving Courtney shit today.
Oh,
maybe you think about it twice before you give Courtney some crap.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what. So she asked me, "Are you going to take my medicine? Are you going to take your medicine?" I said, "Does it look like it?" How can I drink my medicine when you have not made it? So, how's that being? Whatever, do her.
You gotta wake up with a happy attitude, man. We got no negative vibes here.
Oh, I've been positive. She's been nothing but.
What are you talking about? I mean, she had to get you up, get you to your chair, get the computer going. The Wi-Fi wasn't working. She got you set up. She's got you. she's gonna get you breakfast made or lunch, whatever you guys want to eat. I don't know. I mean, she's coming up with you guys in the morning. I mean, show her some love a little bit, man. Come on. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you for Courtney. Hey, Courtney, thank you. I appreciate what you have done.
Be sticking up for her.
We appreciate what you have done.
Of course, I'm going to be sticking up for her.
For Trey to get on this show this early in the morning.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you. I understand how struggling it can be.
All right, so hey, Brock Lesnar. This has been a fun weekend.
I'll deal with you two later.
Brock Lesnar has, it's been an interesting weekend because Brock Lesnar has inserted himself into the Fatal 5-Way, win the WWE Championship, goes up on Raw, ignores Bobby Lashley becoming number 1 contender. And says, hey, I still have unfinished business with Roman Reigns on SmackDown. I will be there to confront him. This is a must-see SmackDown tonight because as we lead to the road to the Rumble coming up at the end of this month, which, by the way, we'll have to start talking about it because Trey and I is actually going to the aftermath of the Rumble, right? We're going to that Raw.
Yes.
As long as COVID situations are still in play, are still playing in our favor. This is actually a very exciting time.
This is because we finally get to see the match we've all been waiting for at the Royal Rumble: Brock versus Bobby. And yes, you're welcome, by the way, Courtney. You're welcome, by the way. But we finally get to see Brock versus Bobby, the match that we've all been waiting to see. And yet, could Bobby show up and attack Lesnar for ignoring him this past Monday on Raw? I sure hope so, because I love to see what would happen tonight going into SmackDown. And by the way, you called it, Justin, about Roman Reigns being cleared before SmackDown. As of yesterday, Roman Reigns is officially medically cleared to go to SmackDown tonight, and he will be there. So I'm happy. I'm excited to see the Tribal Chief and see what happens between him and Brock. And could we see Paul Heyman, since Paul Heyman's now on Brock Lesnar's side? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
You know
all
what?
these questions.
Here's a funny thing about Paul Heyman. I feel like Paul Heyman is on Brock Lesnar's side right now because he has the gold around him. You
That
know
could
what
be
I'm
the
saying? Like
case.
he's favoring whoever has the gold at the. I feel like Paul Heyman is in the position where he has to favor whoever is on top. But right now, Brock is getting the most heat. It's getting the most fan base, and
Yeah.
Armchair Booking came out here and talked about this earlier on their show, and I mean, okay, great. I mean, the promos isn't the greatest from Brock. I get that. Given the fact that for the past 20 years, Paul Heyman has talked for him, basically. But
Yeah.
this is a fun Brock Lesnar that we're seeing
Yes.
that we
Yeah.
haven't seen in a long time. Like I think we say this all the time since the Eddie Guerrero rivalry that they had back in
Yeah.
what
Back in the
04. So I
2004.
mean,
Yeah.
this is something that it's fun, it's new, and you think about all the storylines that are failing in WWE right now. To see this come through and actually enjoy this, it feels like we're seeing a great side of Brock Lesnar that we've never seen before, taking pictures with fans, being a people person. I'm okay with that a little bit. I mean, we need something positive coming through WWE.
Oh,
A sold
we need
out crowd
something
in
different.
Atlanta on Saturday. We saw a
Yeah.
sold out crowd on Saturday, and I think I talked about this already. How important, how great that was. The fact that we actually saw a sold out crowd for wrestling on a wrestling event. How much does that do for wrestling right now?
Yeah.
That's the same thing with Brock Lesnar winning the title. Now we have two guys, and we'll get more in depth with this Saturday and Sunday, but we have two guys at the top of the game, at the top of the food chain, representing both Raw and SmackDown. Brock Lesnar winning the WWE championships makes me now want to tune into Raw. Otherwise, I really could have cared less about Raw at this moment.
But see, the thing is though, and then no disrespect towards Big E, no disrespect,
No.
but Big E's title reign was not the best compared to the previous title holders. His reign was not the best, and so I can understand. New Year, start things fresh. I mean, this was a blessing in disguise for WWE. With Roman tested positive last weekend because of COVID, it helped out Brock Lesnar in the case because he is now an 11-time champion now. So yet this is really, really good stuff. And yet, the fact that we see Lesnar coming out looking like a lumberjack and to have fun, to be creative. This is the Brock Lesnar I've been waiting to see for so long. And yet I love this. Trey, how about you, bud?
I love it
man.
too.
I mean, this is your show. This is SmackDown's your show. WWE is your home turf. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. You've been following this story for quite some time. What is your thoughts? What is your ultimate figure on this?
Well, I could tell you what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
But that is, I think, if Bobby doesn't beat him, it's going to set up to be winner takes all.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, is that I'm sorry to interrupt you, Justin. It's just the thing is, though, is that there is there's somewhat legacy with the Universal Championship, but there's mostly a huge legacy in the WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you want to take all that history that they put into this championship to be gone away?
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be a whole nother breakdown to see how this unfolds. But are you really ready? I mean, is WWE headed to having another unified champion? And are we ready for that to happen? I mean, are you going to combine brands again? I mean, we know that the first time they combined the brands, it wasn't necessarily a success. They actually downgraded a lot, but maybe they're in the position that they're going to have to look into that because they're getting rid of so many talents and so much talent. They may have to go across that way. But Trey, but we talked. I think I mentioned this earlier this week. It's a possibility, hypothetically. What will? I mean, you talk about selling out WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You got 2 nights. That's 100,000 tickets you got to sell. Bobby and Brock at Mania night 1, and if you could, Rock and Roman on night. Would you tell me that if you had those two main event matches, that those shows would sell out instantly?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
because go ahead, Trey. Go ahead.
I would
Oh, hold
definitely
on,
book
hold on.
that. I would definitely do that. I think that's
I'm putting
the
Jake on
best
timeout for
freaking way
interrupting
to
you.
do so. And
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's because you don't have nothing going on for Rome with the women's right now. Now that could change, obviously, in time. Bailey, Asuka could possibly be returning at the Rumble, but there's a lot more going in that direction. And like I said, it's a hypothetical thought because we haven't heard nothing about The Rock possibly returning. But if we want to, you think about it: Bobby and Brock night 1, that will sell out. Night 2, Rock and Roman will sell out. I think it's a big deal. Jake, bring you back from timeout from interrupting.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. My apologies.
No, you're good, man.
So are you saying Brock or Brock versus
Brock
Roman?
and Bobby Lashley. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley night 1. Roman Reigns and The Rock night 2.
See,
sold out crowd both of them. I know it's hypothetical. I know there's going to be a lot of give and take because The Rock would have to come back for a match. But those two will sell out matches. When you talk about Vince McMahon wants to sell out, right? He wants to sell out both WrestleMania matches. What else you do? If you make a unified title, what do? Do you unify Charlotte and Becky again at Mania again in night 1 then? And unify that title? If you unify the WWE and Universal Championship, you're going to have to unify the women's then. Maybe that's the way to go.
See, the thing is that we've already seen a unification match already at the start of the year. So yet, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of the unifying both championships, but you got to think about the cost. You got to be thinking about the cost for both shows. That means that one person is going to have to go to 2 different shows against possibly 2 different
this is when, right, but it happens though, because if Roman Reigns is at the top of your game, and you're telling me that Roman Reigns is the only person at the top of the game, then yeah, he's going to bounce back. We've seen this done before when they combine the roster. Now, I don't know if that means you're going to have to keep the roster separate or you're going to have to unify the roster. But obviously, the WWE is still releasing handful of staff members and WWE superstars. You really have no one else you got nobody to entertain us for 3 hours on Raw. Yeah, I think it comes down to time to maybe combine the rosters again a decade later. Once again, combine the rosters. I don't want to see it happen, but what else? I mean, what else do you have? I don't know exactly what else.
What if we have Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, night 1 main event, night 2 Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar main event night 2.
Yeah, I mean,
so that would be.
That'll be understandable because
we may be seeing that at the Rumble, though. We may be seeing Brock Lesnar have 2 matches at Royal Rumble coming up pay-per-view. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And then I guess here's a better question. What does it leave for the Royal Rumble? The Royal Rumble right now is wide open to anyone. There's no clear picture on where this could possibly take. This is finally exciting to talk about, and I'm sorry to cut you guys off on this.
Yeah,
but we're gonna have to move on. We're gonna have to talk about this more this week.
All right.
I know. All right, we have to do this game before we go to break. We got to play. Jake takes on Trey. All right, we got 3. Hey, Trey, you got your thinking cap on?
Yeah.
All right, I think we have to give ourselves some little fun music. All right, Jake takes on Trey part 2. Let's get you guys up top. I'll bring myself down.
Oh,
there we go. Nope, no, hold on. No, it doesn't want to work for me. It doesn't want to work for me. I'm trying to put myself at the bottom screen. But
it's okay.
It's my studio.
Okay,
I'm up. All right. It's fine. Relax. All right. So, Jake, you won last week. It was a challenging for apparently most of you guys. This one, I'm going to give you guys an easier one as we approach week 18. There's a lot of teams eliminated from the playoffs. There's a lot of teams that's already been sealed their faith in the playoffs teams in the playoff spots. There are currently 7 teams still contending for a possible playoff position that will be determined this weekend. Name the 7 teams. We'll start off with Jake since he won last week.
Is it for both sides?
Just name the 7 teams.
Okay.
You don't have to name all. You start off. You name one team, and we'll go back and forth.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers. That is correct. I know J Trey is already looking. Oh man, I lost this one before it even started. Trey,
Bills.
your turn. Huh?
The Bills.
The Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
That is incorrect. The Bills have already clinched a playoff spot. I'm looking for teams that have not clinched this playoff spot, but are
Las Vegas
contending.
Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders is correct. Trey, come on, man.
The Broncos.
No.
Well, Los Angeles Chargers.
Ding, ding, ding. Trey wins. Jake wins this one. How do you... This is an easy one.
Not easy.
What do you mean it's not easy? Can you not name the 7 teams that are still contending?
Nope.
That games matter this weekend for a playoff spot. Jake, can you name all 7?
I already got the first 3, which is Steelers, Raiders, Chargers, Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
God, why didn't I say that?
New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
San Francisco 49ers.
Yes, and one more.
And the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens. Oh my goodness, he goes 7.
That's ridiculous.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? You gotta. I mean, we're looking for contending teams. I mean, I thought the question was pretty self-explanatory.
It is.
Hey, you still find a way.
I should have said the Lions.
What?
The Lions?
I should have said that just to make y'all mad.
You should have said the Jacksonville Jaguars for more than I know. All right, we got to step away. Coming up next, we're actually playing another interesting game that we're going to be playing every Friday morning, and this is going to involve Jake, where Jake is going to get his 5 minutes of fame in stories that we have not covered here. So stay tuned. You're listening to the J Trey Podcast.
Speak with clarity, 'cause there's too much noise around us. Or maybe it's just me. There's trash out in the sea, yeah, but I'm just too dry to reach it. So speak sincerely. Around lately, the world seems to be the same. There's no room for the privilege and sacred, yeah. Oh, and I want to praise them. Will you stay with me? I'm lost in America. Will you stay with me now? 'Cause I'm lost in America.
Before we start, Justin is grounded.
I'm grounded. I'm producing this show.
You're
What?
grounded for being mean to my
NFL
Bengals
team?
in the private chat.
You know the Bengals. Joe Burrow and Joe Nixon are not in the game. This
And
Sunday.
if they need to win Sunday to become the number 1 seed with Titans.
Well, so I don't
and
think they
the
have. They
Chiefs.
could be. They could actually come in number 2 seed, so they can't come in number 1.
Oh, but I thought they had potential to become
If
number
Kansas
1
City, loses and the Bengals win, then. But I mean, Kansas City losing to Denver? Come on.
No.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
I don't think
if they start their starters, I mean, maybe.
All right, let's play Jake's 5 minutes of fame. These are 5 stories in the NFL, or 5 stories just in general that we have not gotten a chance to get to. Either they just haven't gotten a chance to take on. Maybe we'll talk about it more in depth later. I know one story here we'll probably talk a little bit more about in depth as the time comes. But this is 5 stories this week that just we have not gotten a chance to get to. You want music played for this one, or
No music played, please.
turn it
No.
off? No, please. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna pop it up here. So number 1. The Rock came out with a statement earlier this week. Trey, I'm going to take you off the screen for a minute for Jake. The Rock came out earlier this week talking about XFL training camp is set to take place this time next year. Exactly in 1 year from now, The Rock XFL will re-begin again after 2 unsuccessful attempts for XFL. Will number 3. It was third luck the charm with XFL.
I think so. I mean, if it's under the Rock's hands and he knows how good the XFL can be, then yeah, easily. I believe the Rock has potential to be able to turn things around for the XFL.
All right, number 2. Baker Mayfield is out of the game this Sunday with his. He's going to have shoulder surgery on the 19th of this month. His final year contract's coming up. It's guaranteed money, but on his 5th year, he's going to get $18 million. Obviously, he's looking, if the Browns are looking to make changes, Baker Mayfield may be asking for a trade this year. Is there a chance that that Baker Mayfield will be in a different team next year?
I mean, when you look at the situation with Baker Mayfield, I mean, obviously he struggled a lot with his shoulder injury and how much he's played this year. Then, yeah, I believe we'll see Baker Mayfield, but it all depends because I know a buddy of mine loves Baker Mayfield. He's a diehard Cleveland Browns fan, and I don't think Cleveland fans want to see Baker go. But then again, with how much you're doing, what you're doing for the team, and how much you put a lot of effort into it, then maybe. But I can honestly say it would be different. It would be interesting to see Baker Mayfield wear a different jersey come
The
next
only
season.
thing I would say on this one here is that Mayfield needs to kind of just shut up. Him and his family just needs to pipe up, shut up, and play football. Get out of the social media accounts. That's all I got to say on that. Number 3, Kurt Schilling came out. I apologize if that last name is fucking botched. But under the comments. But Kurt Schilling came out earlier this week on a about his baseball Hall of Fame. If he gets inducted, he wants to go represent the Arizona Diamondbacks. Who do you think Kurt Schilling, being a Boston Red Sox fan, who do you think Kurt Schilling should represent in the Hall of Fame? What team has he had more accomplishments with?
Plain and simple. I mean, Kurt Schilling. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this, please, but he was known for being a part of the Red Sox, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
Red Sox and Diamondbacks.
Red Sox and Diamondbacks.
Remember, Kurt Schilling was the one who was on the team with Randy Johnson when they won the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, if you play for 2 different teams, I mean, it's kind of going to be hard for him to see who he wants to represent. So yeah, if he wants to represent the Diamondbacks, then yeah, that's all on him. I think, if you look at it this way, then yeah, Diamondbacks, that's who he should represent.
Alrighty, number 4. We're getting right into this. COVID spikes in California. California extends the mask mandates until Valentine's Day, which is going to lead into this NFL Super Bowl this year. There's already conversations about the NFL seeking a new location for the Super Bowl. One of the ideas is Dallas, Texas, in Arlington, at the AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
I guess the big question here is really, I mean, all California is asking is that whoever attends the Super Bowl is to wear a mask. Is it that big of a deal? There's one in, it's going to be at SoFi Stadium, but really, should the Super Bowl be relocated, or is it really big of an issue to ask fans just to wear a mask during the game?
I mean, I guess it really is a big of an issue when it comes to asking fans to wear masks. So yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, have it relocated. Go to either AT&T Stadium. Shoot, go to
You're going.
Hold on.
So you're asking me to go from one indoor stadium to another indoor stadium because I mean COVID is going to go to every state.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
understand that. I mean, it really doesn't matter. But I mean, if it's that hard for fans to wear masks, the same fans who paid thousands of dollars for these tickets, then yeah, I mean, have it relocated. It could be at either AT&T Stadium. It could even be in Houston, Texas, for all I know. I mean, we've seen a Super Bowl
That's
there
another
before.
indoor stadium.
And that, or where the Arizona Cardinals play, that's another indoor stadium.
You kind of think about it. Maybe an outdoor stadium will probably be more beneficial for this venue. Thinking about it.
I mean, the only really great outdoor stadiums I know is besides Gillette Stadium would be, possibly where the Philadelphia Eagles play. I forgot what the stadium was called down there. Or, this might sound crazy. Have it in Carolina. I mean, either way, or even have it at the Mercedes-Benz Dome down there in Atlanta. I mean, either way, I mean, you have plenty of options.
We will see. Number 5, also Washington football team will announce their new name on February 2nd. Team name. I'm going to read you the top 10. Which team name do you think the Washington football team will change your name to? Number 1, the Red Wolves. Number 2, Defenders. 3, Commanders. 4, Red Hawks. 5, Brigade. 6, Sentinels. 7, Admirals. 8, Presidents. 9, Armada. And 10, Red Hogs.
What was 3 again? The Commanders?
The Commanders, correct.
I could see it being the Commanders. I mean, that's a crazy top 10.
So we know that the Red Wolves is off because there's already the Timberwolves, and that is a trademark issue that Washington does not want to get into after seeing what happened to the Cleveland Guardians. But there's also a little leak to this page here. If you Google the Washington Admirals, you actually see a link. It's linked to the Washington football team's team name. So I don't know if they're probably tricking us, maybe playing tease, but it looks like under a leak that at Washington has already announced their name low key.
I mean, how long has it been? 2 years since we've had the Washington football team. I mean, it's kind of bad. It's taken you 2 years to be able to come up with a team name. So I'm ready for February 2nd to be over with because I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point.
I am okay with all of that with the Washington football team. I just love to have a nickname. It's one thing that sucks is when you talk about like soccer, there's some teams that don't have nicknames, and it's kind of hard, to talk about who they are, announce them on television and whatnot when they just you can't say they're like, this is like okay, this is the Padres and all that stuff. So we will see. Like I said, if you Google the Washington Admirals, it actually takes you to the Washington football page. So that's going to be interesting. Anyways, all right, week number 18 is here, and
finally,
we got some stories for you coming up before we get to our picks. Key notables. So we talked about Joe Burrow being out, Joe Mixon being out because of COVID, Baker Mayfield being shut down for the year. Unfortunately, you talked about how big Pittsburgh needs to win. Pittsburgh has Deontay Johnson out and Kendrick Green out because of COVID.
Yep.
Unfortunately. All right. So here's the two stories in the NFL that we do want to start breaking down and covering. Obviously, I think the first one, I'm gonna get to this one here. To be for honestly, I think we want to talk more so about this one. Who should be responsible for Aaron Rodgers, or not Aaron Rodgers, Antonio Brown's act this past Sunday? A lot of controversy has gone on over these past few days. I actually have some more content to you. On Thursday afternoon, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finally released wide receiver Antonio Brown. Shortly after the move was announced, Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians addressed the media. Arians explained his side of the story. He claims that Brown refused to go into the game after complaining about the lack of targets. According to ESPN Adam Schefter, Brown was agitated about not getting the targets that he was expecting during the game against New York Jets. He allegedly had to be calmed down at halftime.
Yeah.
And it goes on. Basically, listen, Antonio Brown's coming out saying, "Hey, listen, I have been injured. I had a ankle injury. I didn't feel his case is I didn't feel like I should be playing because I was injured. I didn't feel I was able to play." But yet again, the coaches and Brian Arians was trying to put him in the game. This is when apparently Brian Arians said, "Hey, you don't want to play. You're no longer with the team." He ends up hopping off, doing this and that, and now it's been a big controversy. Then he's been officially released from the Buccaneers. Just a couple plays away from passing records and breaking, getting his bonus, his bonus contract.
Yeah. Well,
And
hey,
this story is cool.
The question says it all. Is you're asking who's responsible for Antonio Brown's situation on Sunday? I can tell you, Antonio Brown, because he's the one that threw this big fit, who took off his shoulder pads and his helmet, throws the shirt in the crowd. So that I don't care what happens, you're still the one that's making the decision to walk out on your team middle of the game. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. You walk out on your team. So yet it's not the coach's fault. It's not even Bruce Arians' fault. It is Antonio Brown's fault because if you're really wanted to play so bad, you shouldn't have walked out on your team. You shouldn't have walked out knowing full well that you guys were trailing at the time before Brady made his comeback. Just be able to do what? For your own needs, for your own selfish needs? I understand about breaking records. I understand that. But at the same time, you're the reason that you're the only reason that has caused your own responsibility. And yet Brown, I'm sorry, but Brown, it goes to show whether if it's on the field or outside of the field, you can't control this man. You can't control him. You can't control his actions because he wants to do whatever the heck Antonio Brown wants to do. So yeah, if you're asking who's responsible for Antonio Brown, it's him. It's not the coaches. It's not the players. It's his own fault.
Well, and I want to get Trey's side of things here, but before that, I really want to just come out here and talk about this here. Taylor White said down in the comments, it's because he's becoming more like a Beckham Jr. Listen, Beckham Jr. or Odell Beckham. Listen, I get it. I don't think I liked what happened with. I'm not a big fan of Odell. I'm not. I didn't like what happened, what he said about in Cleveland, but he's gone off to have great success in Los Angeles. I mean, he's helped the team get to the playoff spot, winning the division, and capturing a couple seeds in the playoffs. So, but it's a whole nother side of things for Antonio Brown. I know it looks like Trey trying to look up over the comments. Look at that! Look at that! Look! It looks like when Trace knows. It looks.
Hey,
I'm sorry, but
let's hear from Trey on this.
Trey, listen. I mean, what is your thoughts? I mean, Antonio Brown. Obviously, you know him a little bit, being hating, not liking him because he was a Steelers fan. But
so I'm going back to you said that some of the reason was lack of target.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to reports, it was about lack of being targeted Although there was other reports about his ankle injury prior to the game that the coaches knew about it. I mean, you're getting two different type of stories, one from Tampa Bay, one from Antonio Brown.
I want to point out something. So Antonio Brown is upset because of lack of target. It is a team effort. You are on a football team. Who cares if you have lack of effort? I mean, lack of, target. Chase is getting a lot of, and going back to the Bengals, Chase is getting a lot of catches and all that. It's a team effort. I think it's Brown's fault. He should have never done what he did. But if his ankles was injured, why is he running and doing jumping jacks and acting like a fool in the middle of the field if his ankle was injured?
Right. So the original statement was that Antonio Brown was taken out of. Well, Antonio Brown reported to the coaches that his ankle was hurting. He didn't want to play because his ankle was hurting. And for me, that is, and obviously, you see him running around on the field. Yeah,
I mean, he played half a freaking game.
I don't know. The sources say that he, I guess the sources say that, yeah, he was frustrated because he was being lacked a target. His ankle was hurting, and the coaches kept on wanting to put him out there. I guess the only claim that I could put two and two together, that if his ankle's hurting and you're not targeting him to give him the ball, then why is he out there on the field if he's not physically, if you're not in the spotlight, then why are you not in there? So that's the only defense to say. But listen, like you say it the best, Trey, shenanigans. Antonio Brown has his history of shenanigans on and off the field. And, I mean, this was coming from a guy who wouldn't pay his chef because for some stupid reason, this was the same guy who faked his, vaccine card and then got a slap on the wrist. I mean, 3 times. Exactly. I mean,
to me, I think Antonio is selfish. If Tom Brady sees Gronk open, throw that to Gronk. Brown should have never been selfish. This is a game.
Yeah.
It's a football team. Your goal is to win, right?
Well, here's also another prime example too. You talk about it. I mean, he's kind of had never been himself ever since that Vontaze perfect hit back in the playoffs. Remember that? I mean,
I actually watched that the other day.
I don't know if he needs personal help. I don't know if it's a concussion thing, whatever you call it, what a PTI, whatever it is. But I mean, this man, I think he needs to take some time and kind of get himself together, or else he's going to end up hurting more people than what we think.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sad because he's such a great player. As bad as I don't like him, he's done so good for Pittsburgh and other teams. He's a great player. I hate seeing that. Yeah. It is what it is.
See, the thing is, though, and that's a really good comment there, Taylor, is that the thing is that, he talked about playing with Tom Brady. He talked about, wanting to play with the GOAT. I mean, ever since he joined Tampa Bay last year. I mean, he didn't do much last year, and he still won a Super Bowl ring with Tom Brady. And yet, I feel like for the first time in Tom Brady's career, he's actually feel like he's never seen a receiver walk out his own team. I mean, when you see other receivers play with Tom Brady, he expects you to do the best you can. He's not putting too much on you, and he never put too much on Antonio Brown. And yet, the thing is, though, is that in his press conference, he showed how much he was concerned about his receiver, and he was concerned about his teammate. I mean, and everyone is. And I'm not going to continue on bashing Antonio Brown because, he's still a human. I mean, and whatever happens, I'm hoping Antonio Brown is going to be okay. But yet, why would you walk away from playing one of the greatest quarterbacks in all NFL with Tom Brady? Like, this is a chance to win back-to-back Super Bowl rings. I just don't know.
Yeah, this is interesting. Hey, talking about there we go. I'm up on the screen now. Talking about his performance, one of being a great player. I got another story about Aaron Rodgers. He's making some headline news and MVP candidates. I'll explain
Oh,
more
I
coming
can't
up
wait to
next
see
year
this one.
on the J Trey Podcast.
I can't let them take my soul.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, it kind of just hurts Tampa Bay in the long run, because this is type of stories that you don't want heading this into the playoffs. I mean, and they had an opportunity with Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Tom Brady, Gronkowski to be a phenomenal Super Bowl winning team, and this could obviously be the reason of their failures, maybe in the playoffs. But we'll soon to be determined. But we talk about how impactful he is on the field. I want to share this other story that's been kind of going out. Chicago's. And the reason I heard about this story was because Hub Arkish. Okay? Do you even know who that guy is? Has anyone? Okay, prior to this week, have you even heard of this guy?
No.
No. Okay, so fair enough, because I haven't. Apparently, he's on the Odyssey app. He's a radio broadcaster on the Odyssey app. He does very good things. I mean, he's really well known in Chicago. He does a lot of sports talk for the Chicago Bears, and really good guy. He's a good guy, but he comes out and and I guess he's on the voting committee for this year's MVP, and he came out about the judging for the MVP, and he bluntly stated that he will not vote for Aaron Rodgers because of the stuff he did off the field, and he's a jerk and this and that. And it kind of attracted some attentions this week in the world of sports, where Aaron Rodgers came out and said, "Hey, listen, man, you're a bum. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I'm about. How dare you sit off of my off-field performance when MVP is about the most valuable player?" Well, I think the MVP should be the most vaccinated player in this sense. Obviously, this is we're referring to. This was determined by Hub prior to the season beginning that he was not going to vote for Aaron Rodgers. And now that I guess the question lies is, should Hub get that MVP vote knowing that he's not going to vote for Aaron Rodgers, before I let you guys talk, I'm going to tell you this. Prior to this week, I wasn't even talking about MVP. I wasn't even thinking about the MVPs yet because you still have another week of football. And when you think about MVPs, I think the first couple of guys that come into my mind is guys like Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor. And you're right. I mean, I don't think Aaron Rodgers came to my first thought process. First of all, listen, Hub apologized. I don't think the apology is sincere. I think as a personal level, knowing his vote should not be counted this year. But yet again, an MLB Hall of Fame. We're going to have to talk about this next week. But there's been cases where people don't even vote at all. But now because this story's out, don't you feel a little sympathetic for Aaron Rodgers now, where you're like, I sure hope he wins the MVP award, considering how much storylines he's made? I mean, this week alone, think about it. I am, and I apologize, I had a brain fart. We get this. But anyways, I think Aaron Rodgers is a great player, but prior to this, I wasn't even thinking about MVP, and now I'm thinking about MVP, and now I feel like this is more of a publicity scene. I just take it as a publicity scene. Now for like, okay, now you're highlighting Aaron Rodgers MVP. Now the defense is, okay, Aaron Rodgers should be MVP. Considering now, if you don't, put him out there, the case, Hub Archer, Arkish, didn't, influence that. Yeah. But anyways, Jake, you got more on this one.
I'd rather be last on this one. Give it to Trey before I say what I have to say about this.
I would rather Jake do it so I can
all right
hear more of the story.
Because he doesn't know nothing about this story.
Okay.
So
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So when did a problem with Aaron Rodgers became anything? Because to me, I understand about the whole vaccine thing, but yet it doesn't matter if someone's vaccinated or not. The most important thing is it's the performance. I mean, and Rodgers, yes, he's had his trouble this year when it comes to the whole vaccinated thing, and I'm not going to get into that because the thing is, I think that's what the problem is with this dude. Is he said because of what Rodgers did, because him faking that he had the vaccine, it doesn't really matter because right now it goes to show it's the performance out on the football field, not outside the field. I mean, I care less what Aaron Rodgers does outside the field, as long as he puts in his effort and his hard work into the field, like he's done all season, then yes. And in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers should be MVP because here's the reason why. Yes, I mean, and you brought up great names: Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, incredible individuals. But yet Rodgers has put in the most this season compared to even Tom Brady. So yet, as far as this dude's problem with Aaron Rodgers, I agree with what Rodgers had to say because you don't know nothing about him. You don't really just because you say that the whole vaccine thing, you want to make it a big issue. Because at the end of the day, it's the performance. It's the performance on the field, in the games, and what you're trying to do to be able to get your team into the Super Bowl. And Rodgers
but here's the bigger story now. Like, okay, so I think I'm beyond what Herb said. Okay, here's what hurts me now. So now we know what Hub Arkish is going to vote. We know his voting process. He is not going to vote for Aaron Rodgers. The reasoning behind it, yeah, I could tell you I'm not a fan of. Okay, you can't judge. I don't believe that you should judge someone off based off of the stuff off the field. But yet again, I guess that's a case that we could go more in depth about because you've seen Hall of Fame people. Does that mean that Pete Rose should have been in the Hall of Fame then? I'm just talking about voting wise. But here's my thing. Hub NFL came out and said, hey, Hub is still granted his MVP vote. So if he's the only person that is not voting for Aaron Rodgers, would this be an issue? Or if this is now the vote, if this changes people's minds to not vote for Rodgers, will we hear a backlash about this? I mean, that's the other thing. So I guess the bigger question is should Hub be removed at least this year? And then should there be some standards to how people should vote. I mean, you should never, if you're on the voting committee for anything, Hall of Fame, MVP, any awards, you should never be discussing your reasons before your vote. You should never be discussing well, who are you not, or who are you picking. That's kind of my thing here.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that why even bother saying, "Well, I'm not going to vote for Aaron Rodgers because of this and that." Why even bring that up? If you had a vote, then
Well, because
please,
he was asked in an interview.
Go.
He was asked in an interview what his case was for the MVP, because everyone knew that he was going to be he had a vote in for the MVP, and he was asked, hey, what was your thoughts? And I think maybe he didn't necessarily mean to come across that way, but he still came out saying, hey, I'm not voting for Aaron Rodgers, not because he's not a good player on the field. It's because all the stuff that he did off the field that plays an effect. And don't get me wrong, listen. Yeah, I mean, Antonio Brown has looked differently in my eyes because of the shenanigans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quote Trey on this one, that he's done off the field. He's a great ball player, but the reason why I don't think Antonio Brown is the greatest is because, I do consider, I mean, I do just, hey, yeah, he's a great player on the field, but yet again, he's done this stuff off the field. Odell Beckham Jr., same way. I mean, now I'm looking at John Gruden. I mean, you get criticized on everything you do at these top levels. For me, you look at John Gruden. He was a phenomenal coach. I thought Hall of Fame coach, great broadcast. I had nothing but greatness to talk about him. Then we hear about the email leaks from Washington early this year, and now it's like, okay, now you just ruined his name. Kind of. You know what I'm saying?
See, the thing is that, if, let's say, for example, if any of us got a chance to be able to vote for the MVP, whether you have an opinion towards someone that you're not, you're against or not, I mean, at least do is keep the vote to yourself. At least do is try not to cause a scene like you just did and have Rodgers to be backfired.
At least until after we announce the MVP, then you could go out and say, yeah, I didn't vote for him for this reason. That's one thing.
But yeah, you know what he did now is that since Rodgers is going to be starting this Sunday against the Lions, Rodgers is going to show that he deserves to be the MVP for a reason.
But I also feel it's not even at that point. That's not the point. There's more to it, because now, like I said, prior to this week, I was not talking about Aaron Rodgers and the MVP. I know he was a candidate, but I was pleading cases about Jonathan Taylor, about Cooper Kupp. Now we are so invested into Aaron Rodgers and MVP. I feel it's almost like you have to give it to Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the MVP award. He's definitely done some stuff. Now, listen, side note here, and I'm not putting this as part of his infield play. Yeah, it's a little frustrating when you hear a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who gave probably rat's ass about this COVID, said he was immune, that instead of getting vaccinated, and then end up costing the team. Yeah, I feel like that's petty. That's a little bit of selfish, but that's not judging me based off of his performance in the thing. For me, I think Jonathan Taylor has done more with less than what Aaron Rodgers has done. Listen, we've seen Aaron Rodgers do this year in and year out, right? We've seen him perform at greatness year in and year out. For me, it's old news. I like Jonathan Taylor. Wow, I have not seen him do this quite often, and it's phenomenal. That's why, for me, Jonathan Taylor is kind of more of a runners-up for the MVP. Now, for me, that would have been a perfect explanation on why you wouldn't root for Aaron Rodgers. You see this year in and year out. Jonathan Taylor, hey, first time, lights out, helped the tennis. After Derrick Henry goes out, Jonathan Taylor, no, I'm not saying Derrick Henry. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Colts here. But I mean, Carson Wentz has not had a season performance. But yet again, Jonathan Taylor carried the team. You know what I'm saying? Cooper Kupp has a lot going on him in LA, and he's carried himself finally as well. So you know what I'm saying? There's other allegations that you can make, but for me, okay. But here's the thing. Okay, answer my question. Should Hub be removed, knowing his thought process? And I don't think he's the only one to think about this way. I don't think he's the only one that's on the panel that's voting this year that takes into consideration, hey, what has he done off the field, right?
Yeah.
Should Hub, though, making it verbally known, be removed from MVP voting this year? And two, should there be a standard for how to be voted? And can you really uphold that standard?
Trey?
So I want to, before we answer that question, I want to give my take on this Aaron Rodgers thing. So this guy publicly stated he is not voting for Aaron Rodgers because of his vaccine status.
Right.
So
Well,
that's
for his
that's like
off-the-field
me.
stuff.
That's like me saying if Ben Roethlisberger was running for MVP, I'm not going to vote for Ben Roethlisberger because I hate Pittsburgh. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It should be about what you have done on that football field.
Yep.
You're
Agree.
right, but I mean, listen, what comes out of your mouth may say that, but I don't think that I think everyone has a little biased opinion based off
Right.
of what you see off the field. The less, listen,
Right.
I mean, I've never seen any off the field negative things coming from Jonathan Taylor. So when I can only judge him on the stuff he's done on the field, because that's it. If you're criticizing Aaron Rodgers and why he shouldn't get MVP vote. Yes, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was voting, I would also, things come into my mind was the whole incident about lying about his vaccine. Getting COVID, right? Jeopardizing the team for the first half of the season. Am I going to go out there and say that? No, I'm not saying that because I'm going to judge based off the performance. But you got to consider everybody who's voting, they have a little bit of thought. Hey, that's, I mean, it's not just overall. I don't think you could get just a generic overall standard. So let me ask you this. Maybe should the voting change? How should it change?
I mean,
Can the
I'm not
people
going to
vote instead of people,
I mean, the thing is, though, is that the way I see it is that, yeah, have the voting, but the problem is that if you're going to have guys like that, just remove them because you don't need to add controversy when it comes to football. You don't need to add controversy when it comes to win the MVP award. So in my eyes, I mean, after this season, I don't know why they decided to bring in this guy, but yet he needs to be gone because this whole thing is just plain stupid, plain and simple.
Like, I'm not even mad at Hub. Listen, your opinion is your opinion. I'm not I could agree with you on certain terms. I just now this is going to kind of make everyone relook at how the voting process is done based off of MVP wise and rookie of the year and also the Hall of Fame. Like, this is impactful. I don't know the guy's name, but there is a guy on the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame voting committee that has turned in a blank ballot. Like, he doesn't believe that any candidates for this year's MLB Hall of Fame should be worthy enough to be in the Hall of Fame this year. And you're talking about guys like Kurt Schilling, Barry Bonds, who are kind of making their final last stretch. And if you want to take about it, you want to talk more in depth, we'll talk more in depth later about it. But I mean, it's like now it's going to force us to reanalyze how we're voting. Maybe it should be a people vote. I mean, the fans vote, who should be MVP.
I think it should
and that
be
way they're,
fan.
I like it. I like the idea. Maybe but that's something that we're going to have to tune in and talk about later on,
I mean, plain and simple, have the fans vote because if you have fans, then listen to the people.
Right. Well, now you can't. I mean, but yeah, will there be too much of a controversy?
No.
If the fans vote, no.
If the fans vote, no, because at least we wouldn't have to have anything as stupid such as this whole situation right now.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to say though that this has really drawn eyes to Aaron Rodgers, and I mean a little bit. I mean, wouldn't you say a little bit could be a little bit publicity scene? Trying to make his case for an MVP now? I mean, now you're just favoring him because he's the most talked about guy right now in the NFL, especially out of the MVP candidates. Because all the stories, Colin, Skip and Shannon, guys from local San Diego stations, Indianapolis that should be talking about Jonathan Taylor, is talking about Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is a little bit in favor now to Aaron. Bad time to make a story. Hey, listen, we're not going to be able to get to all the games and picking them, so I'm going to ask you guys, everyone, by tonight, put their picks on Facebook. I'll post up the games. Put your picks up there. We're going to talk about key games coming up next, right here on the J and Trey Podcast.
You think you know me? Say I'm as cold-hearted as they come. You think I'm slowly
No, Trey.
cutting my ties with you that I'm
I sent you my
done.
pick already.
Here's what you
Trey, what I'm gonna do is after the show, I'm gonna post the games up on Facebook under our channel, Jane, the TNC Sports Talk. I want you to put the game teams you think are gonna win.
I'm not going to type out
Does that
every
make sense,
quick
Trey?
winner.
Well, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to. Okay, have
I just
Courtney
sent
do
you
it.
my
Be
pick.
nice to her. No, well, I'm not doing it for you.
I sent you my picks. I ain't typing it out.
Please,
Yes,
Jesus,
I kind
sorry.
of want to at this time reach out to Armchair Booking. Listen, thank you for watching.
Thank you guys. Thank y'all.
I will be reaching out to you this weekend. If it's not today, Steve, it will be tomorrow. Okay, because I work later into the night. What's
Be sure you
going
guys
on?
check out Armchair Booking.
I don't know. Say what's going on. GW, Aman, YT.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
You know who this one is? You know who this person is?
No, but hey, what's up?
Hey, we'll just say hi. What's going on, you guys? All right, so listen, we're not gonna be able to give pick today, obviously, but yeah, I'll be reaching out to Armchair Booking later on, and probably, like I said, either if not today, tomorrow we could go over some ideas of what you have planned. Hey, a couple of Saturday games real quick going on. We have Kansas City and Denver, and Dallas and Philadelphia. I don't know. I mean, you guys, are you guys interested in any of those games? I mean, Philadelphia Everyone's made playoffs on Saturday, so or not
Yeah.
made playoffs.
Well, I mean,
So
besides Denver, yeah.
well, this is all new to us. And it's new to the world because we have not had an 18-week season. So this is week 18 at its finest. No Thursday night game, no Monday night game. We have 2 Saturday games to kind of enjoy, and then we have Sunday's games. So we have some key Sundays, some key scenarios that we have to talk about. Indianapolis Colts could clinch their playoff spot in the wild card if they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. So that's going to be interesting. But if they do lose, then the game between Pittsburgh and Baltimore is going to matter, because if whoever wins that game, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, if the Colts lose, they will be replacing them.
Yeah.
Unless one last thing happens.
Yep.
The Raiders and the Chargers, which is going to be the main event of the week. The main match of the week. It's going to be Sunday Night Football, the last game. So when we go on Sunday, it will be on there. The Chargers and the Raiders, if they tie and the Colts lose, then the Chargers and the Raiders will be in.
That's going to have me nervous on that one, that's for sure.
So just think about this. Colts win, then it'll go down to the Chargers and Raiders. Whoever wins, great. Steve from Armchair Booking is a Raiders fan. Hey. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough year. No one's anticipated the Raiders to be where they're at, considering everything gone on with Henry Ruggs
I was hoping he'd be a Chiefs fan because Steelers and the Raiders have to fight for the playoff spot. I'm sorry, Steve.
Well, you think about like everything with John Gruden and Henry Ruggs. That one guy that just got a DUI earlier this week after celebrating a victory. I mean, he was found. I got Taylor White is a Bengals fan.
Go Bengals!
Hey, well, listen, it's going to be interesting because both Burrow and Mixon, both starting quarterbacks are out. So this is more of like, hey, let's get everyone healthy. How much of Jamar Chase you going to see on Sunday? Probably not a lot. Maybe first half a little bit, but so if the Colts win, it's going to come down to the Chargers and Raiders, whoever wins. But if the Colts lose, I mean, I don't think we're going to see this. I mean, do you think Roger Goodell will say, hey, we'll call both teams up and say, hey, no shenanigans Sunday night if the Colts lose and we got to have a win? I mean, we got to have a game. I mean, they could both decide to kneel the ball if the Colts lose and they both in the game in a tie, or just run the ball, go 3 and out, punt it, run the ball. I mean.
All I'm going to say is, as far as the Pittsburgh situation, we have to have the Jaguars to beat the Colts, and unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna. Out of all teams, you could have given us all teams, but the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, out of the other two, because don't forget the last week of the game of the season, you play your division, so you could have even had Houston. I mean, Houston. I would have picked Houston over Indianapolis on this case, but Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh and Baltimore is going to be a really good game, though, because you think about it. Ben has one last fight in him. If he is truly retiring at the end of this season, what a way to go off with a victory. And right, the Ravens have given them the opportunity to win on Sunday. This doesn't impact the Bengals, so Trey, you should be a little bit more supportive of at least the Steelers winning the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, do you want the Steelers or you want the Ravens? Pick one. You got to pick one.
You got to pick one.
You got to pick one in this game. You want Ben to lose and be salty about his loss in his last NFL game of his career, or do you want him to walk off into the sunset on a horseback, white carriage riding?
Bye, Big Ben. Let him go. Ravens gonna win.
You know what sucks is that there's really no quarterback in the draft this year. So what is Pittsburgh gonna do with the quarterback? I mean, are they gonna pick? Okay, here's gonna be the key question: if Baker Mayfield is out of Cleveland, right? He doesn't.
Oh,
He
no,
gets traded.
no,
Yeah,
do
Hold
not
on,
say
hold on,
that.
no. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying Mayfield to Pittsburgh. I'm asking you this question: if Mayfield goes to a different team, because there's a possibility. I know Mayfield's talking about wanting to go to Washington, but if
He can go
Mayfield's
to
out in
Washington.
Cleveland,
Just stay
hold on,
away from
listen.
Pittsburgh.
All right,
Stay
listen
away
to
from
me.
Pittsburgh.
If Mayfield's out of Cleveland, if he gets traded, who, the Steelers or the Browns, who will first have a better quarterback?
Considering that backup is Mason Rudolph, it's most
I
likely
think
going to be
people, I
Cleveland.
think veterans, I think free agents will want to sign with Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh will have a better opportunity.
I mean, if Russell Wilson does leave Seattle, then yeah, I'm hoping Pittsburgh does whatever it takes to be able to sign Russell
Oh
Wilson.
my goodness. What about Russell Wilson with Cleveland Browns? Trey, you better watch out.
That would be a nightmare coming to life.
Here's another interesting story too. Chicago Bears head coach is out of a job that he just got fired. Guess who's looking to be going back into the NFL? Jim Harbaugh. Will we see Jim Harbaugh coach?
Right.
Don't forget, Jim Harbaugh was wasn't he the quarterback for the Bears?
I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Might have, yeah.
I mean,
wait,
think
Jack,
about
so-
Jim Harbaugh going to. I mean, Pete Carroll may be out of a job this year.
Wait,
He
Nagy
may
got
go
fired?
back down. The head coach for the Bears. Yeah.
Wow, Matt Nagy
canned this
finally
week.
got fired.
So I got a question. Is Andy Dalton signed to a multiple-year contract with the Bears?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dang.
but I mean,
I was hoping Andy would go to Pittsburgh.
We don't want Andy Dalton. We don't
Yeah,
want
you
Baker
do.
Mayfield. We don't want any of these horrible quarterbacks. What we need though is Russell Wilson. So Pittsburgh, if you're watching, I mean, think of some great deals.
All right. Well, hey, just quickly on the NFC side, San Francisco holds a playoff spot, but they will need to beat the Rams. If not, they would need Atlanta to beat the Saints. I could see the Rams beating the 49ers in the final game. It's in LA. And then I see the 49ers possibly having the better chance of getting knocked out of the playoffs this year.
No, see the thing is, the Saints don't even have a quarterback. So yet, let alone.
But
I mean,
all the Saints has to do is win their game with the 49ers loss, and they swapped places in the.
I'll be really surprised to see the Saints in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, we'll see. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments. Hook us up on social media pages. I mean, this is I'm gonna tell you guys, boys. This has been one fucking hell of a show. I haven't felt good. Like it's so far. It was terrible on Wednesday. I'm sorry. I tell you, it was a terrible show because I was completely out of it. And then yesterday picked up a little bit because we had some storylines. Jake was back. Today, phenomenal. Tomorrow, I got a couple other great ideas coming up for tomorrow. We're going to talk about some from not high school. We got to talk about some NFL Saturday football. We got to recap SmackDown and Rampage and Battle of the Belts tomorrow night. We also got to talk about Georgia and Alabama. That play this Monday.
Hard to believe it's almost here. The national championship game is Monday.
And what's up?
I want to say one thing. So last night before I went to bed, I saw on social media, and on behalf of the J and Trey Podcast, I want to wish the Killer Bee herself to get well soon. She announced she's got COVID.
Yeah,
so get well COVID, soon.
Yeah, and also Bretton Hart, who is a special guest, she'll be having a fight at Knucklemania 2 next month.
Talk about this, Jake. What do we have in store next Wednesday?
Yes, we have a Muay Thai fighter joining us. Yet she's got a title fight coming up in 2 months. I can't pronounce her last name. Sandra. You can help me pronounce her last name. But we do have a special guest joining us. She's an incredible fighter. She's got a fight coming up in 2 months, and yet she really wanted to be a special guest on the show. And yet, Justin was cool with it. So yet, be sure to tune in 10:30 on Wednesday. We get a chance to have another special guest. The second special guest of 2022.
Listen, I love our special guests, but you got to get people we know.
Hey,
And
hey.
next Sunday we have another special guest, and it's also a 3-hour episode. Tune in next
Gosh, we got
Sunday. We will have
Cavalcade.
Riley Matthews.
Yeah, we got Cavalcade on Sunday. This
Oh, I
Sunday
got a
though.
challenge for you, Justin.
Okay.
Sunday, I want you to pick your top 2 favorite cars, and I want you to post them up on the video on the podcast on Sunday.
Deal.
I'm
done. All right.
Hey, just can't wait for next Wednesday. I mean, with Sandra get a chance to join us. I mean, I know that she's excited. We have a lot of special guests for you guys later on, and it's definitely been a great show. Really, really great show.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Thank you guys. It was a great. Absolutely. You guys. Hopefully, everyone's has enjoyed their Friday. We will be back again tomorrow night from 10 to noon. You guys want to stick tuned? We got a lot more to talk about.
I mean,
This is our
at
new
midnight.
schedule. Midnight. Sorry, 10 to midnight at night. Well, nighttime, you guys. Nighttime, you guys. But hey, yet again, hey, got to go head out to Armchair Booking and check them out as well. All right. Check out Armchair Booking. Genora Gabriel, Sinclair Octavius title match tomorrow night. Don't miss that out. All right. Until next time, you guys, on behalf of Trey, Jake, and I, and the J Trey Podcast, you guys have yourself a wonderful Friday. Hey, you guys take care. We'll see you next tomorrow.